Hey Zara and Quinn, glad you girls can make it again. We are at the final chapter of the book, King and Kayla, in the case of the unhappy neighbor. Let's do a quick recap. Last chapter, dogs squatted up. They were like, look, I'm tired of my boy Thor being accused of something he didn't do. We already got the facts that Thor is a small little puppy. He's about the size of a carrot, so how can he knock over a trash can? He doesn't even like carrots. He doesn't even like strawberries. He doesn't even like tomatoes. So my boy Thor should be off the hook. Big Dog McGee was looking over the gate, and he was just kind of scheming and plotting. He was just like, let me in on some of this. Let me help y'all out. So, as King was getting ready to walk out, he saw Big Dog McGee, aka Mouse, and he was just like, what's good? What's going on? So King was just like, look, they trying to equip our boy Thor for something he didn't do. He needs to be innocent until proven guilty. We got the facts. Let's put our dog powers together, squad up, head over to Mr. Gary's yard, sniff it up, and see what's happening. They got over to the yard, started sniffing. What did they find? Poop. Whose poop was it? Who knows? What is the new guy? We don't know. Obviously, he's not a dog. Cat with no name did not disclose that information at all, because he just does not care. And it looks like Mr. Gary was trying to put the blame on his dogs. Well, Mr. Gary should have been more aware of how his yard is actually looking. He was so pressed to make a point, he didn't see that poop that was dried up and old there when the dogs just got there and started sniffing. Kayla defended him, the dogs, so did Jillian, that they didn't do it. So, without further ado, let us begin on chapter 5, the conclusion of the book. I'm so excited to see what happens. Chapter 5, a new word. Mouse's human takes out his phone. What are you doing? Kayla asks. I'm looking for a scat chart, Mouse's human says. What's scat? Jillian asks. Kayla whispers. It's another word for poop. So, Zara, if you ever want to say, I'm not recommending this, but if you ever want to be really intellectual with your friends and something about poop happens, you can always say scat. They'll be like, what's scat? Don't tell them. Let them find out. Let them find out when they get older. And then they'll be like, Zara, I know what scat is. Because you're already 2 steps ahead. You too, Quinn. Good stuff to know. The more you know, right? Let's see if we can figure out what kind of animal left that scat, Mouse's human says. Look at your boy, Mr. Gary. Just salty. Man, what are you mad about? Everybody's working together for your yard. This is your problem, but the whole neighborhood is coming together to fix your problem. You should be more grateful than to have an attitude problem. What do we tell you about attitude problem, girls? They're unnecessary. It's not necessary. When you bring negative energy, you get negative energy back. Always remain positive under whatever circumstances you possibly can. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. But always come back to being happy, because life is too precious to not be happy. The humans all look at the chart. Then they look at the scat. I don't need to see the chart. I can smell who left the scat. I may have been right. This looks like, based upon the scat chart, it looks like it came from a raccoon. I knew it. A raccoon, Kayla and Jillian say at the same time. That's right. Raccoons get into the trash, Jillian says. They dig up gardens too, Kayla says. That raccoon just looks like he's up to no good. Look at him. Just look at him. Mr. Gary turns to Jillian. Perhaps I was wrong to accuse your dog of messing up my yard. You sure was wrong, Mr. Mr. Gary, you sure were wrong. This is another pro tip for life, girls. When in doubt, never jump to conclusions. Try to gather as much information and facts as much as possible before making a decision. When you make a decision based upon how you feel, sometimes that's not the best decision. You can hurt people. You can even hurt yourself. So if you're questioning about something, take a step back and think. You can even do what Kayla did, was make notes and write down the list, and then take that list of things you know and the things you don't know. Compare those lists. If you have a friend around that may know more things, as you add to that list or take away from the list. And then based upon what you have, you can make the proper educated decision. Never make decisions off of emotion, because when you're sad or super happy, sometimes those decisions may have dire consequences. Dire consequences? What is that? What is that, you ask? Basically, if you make a decision when you're sad, let's say you didn't pick up your toys or something, and you got mad and you ran off, and your decision was to run off and not clean up your toys. What's the consequence of that? Not cleaning up the toys. What does that mean? Not only are you sad, but you didn't clean up the toys. So now, whoever told you to clean up the toys, whether it's me, mommy, grandparents, cousins, aunts, or uncles, are actually cleaning up the toys, not only are we upset and mad that you didn't listen, but now you're upset because you didn't take a moment to clean up the toys, and now you have to go clean up the toys regardless. So you're just double upset. How does that make you feel? Well, you can sit back and be like, let me clean up these toys despite of how I feel. I may be tired, I may not want to clean these toys up, but let me do it anyway. You clean them up, you may have been upset, but guess what? After that's done, you thought it out, you thought about the good things to clean up the toys, the mess is clean, and then you can go on and continue on doing whatever you want to do for the rest of your day, whatever you're able to do. That's a correction. So let's finish the story. I told you I'm a good dog, Thor says. We are all good dogs and good friends. The end. Man, that was a great story, wasn't it, girls? Recap of that chapter. The humans used a smartphone, looked at a scat chart. Scat is a smart way of saying poop. They didn't know what animal it was. King sure did, though. So did Daddy, because I made that guess when I first saw it. When I first saw the scat. Based upon the scat, it wasn't a rabbit, it was a raccoon. Raccoons are notorious for going into people's stuff at nighttime and trying to find food and trying to find ways to eat. There's something called nocturnal. Nocturnal means that they sleep throughout the daytime, but at nighttime they're up, and that's when, they're up to eat and play and to do what they have to do before it's time to go to sleep throughout the daytime. Owls are nocturnal as well. So as you go further in school, you'll realize when animals are nocturnal and when animals are up in the daytime, like us. And you can even go outside and look and see that. So are bats. Bats are nocturnal as well. I think King and Kayla did an excellent job of solving this case. You don't have an unhappy neighbor anymore. I had a salty neighbor. He needs to sit back and think about how he reacts to things, my personal opinion, before jumping to conclusions and say it was dogs. If you don't like dogs, just say you don't like dogs, but don't blame dogs. And you see the size of the dog versus the size of the mess. You got Jillian's mom over here feeling guilty, cleaning things up based off of something she thought it was her puppy doing. And you know what? Mr. Gary didn't give one I'm sorry at all. One I was, he gave perhaps I was wrong. But I'm like, dude, you're not sorry. You just want to find a reason to be mad. Again, girls, never end your day mad. Never end your moment or your hour mad. Life is too precious. Always find something to be happy about. Anyway, great story, great series, great chapters. I loved it. I hope you girls loved it. I love you. I love you. And if you are watching this throughout the daytime, morning, evening, whatever, hope you girls are having a great day. And I'll talk to you later.